Hello everybody! Today I actually want to make a follow-up video to my last video that was talking about Xiao and all the information we have on him compared to the information that was released when he was in the closed beta test 2. Today I actually want to make a video kind of suggested by one other person, but I already had this idea in the back of my head anyway. It's going to be a video focusing on what weapons that are currently in the game that will be good on him. I'm only going to focus on the ones that are currently in the game. Not gonna speculate on anything that's unreleased yet. Besides there's one weapon I will talk about that's unreleased, but that's because we know it'll be in the game before Zhao comes out in most likely 1.3. All right, so getting right into it, I'm actually gonna start with I'm actually gonna start with 3-star weapons. I meant to say, but the first 3-star weapon I'm gonna talk about is the Hellbrid. Um, I actually don't. Uh, as a player who's already AR-50, I have a lot of experience in the game. I don't support using 3-star weapons. I think there's many 4-star alternatives to use, even free-to-play weapons such as Craftables. So I don't support using 3-star weapons, but if it's your only option for a certain part of the game, maybe you just started, you re-rolled a brand new account just for Zhao, and you only have 1 or 2 3-star weapons, these might be weapons you want to look at. I'm gonna be talking about 2 of the 3-star pole arms. There's actually not many. There's only 3, but 2 of them are okay on Zhao if you have no other option. The first one being the Hellbrid, and that just increases your normal attack, or your normal attack does an additional 160% attack damage, and it occurs once every 10 seconds. It does scale with to all the way to 320% attack damage. This is honestly just an increase to his normal attacks. This is similar to what the flute does. It's just an extra burst of damage every so often. Nothing really to say about that, but it would be okay on him if you had no other option. The next thing is a white tassel. Again, this would be okay if you have no other option and you have a white tassel, especially if you build it out to refinement level 5. What this weapon does is give you increased crit rate, which is nice because then you could build crit damage on your helmet, and it has a passive of increased normal attack damage by 24%. That's really huge on Zhao because Zhao is going to be a normal attack character. You're going to be doing a lot of your normal attacks, a lot of your plunging attacks, a lot of your charged attacks. His ultimate, his burst, actually increases your normal attack damage. So yeah, he has a large focus on normal attacks, and this will be a large increase to his damage. However, again, it's a 3-star weapon. Its scaling's not going to be that good, especially compared to a 4 or 5-star weapon. I'll just show you a quick 5-star weapon for comparison. At level 90, this weapon gives 640 or 674 attack damage, where the white tassel only gives 400 at level 90. That's a huge difference in damage. And remember, this is your base damage. That's the base attack that everything's going to get calculated off of. So you're going to want to have your base attack as high as possible. Yes, it does give crit rate, and like I said, that will allow you to build crit damage on your circlet, but since it's, again, a 3-star, it doesn't give a lot of crit rate. We'll compare it to another 5-star later on that does give crit rate as well and show you the big difference there. But again, if you don't have any 4-stars, if you don't have any 5-stars, the White Tassel is a decent option. If you're looking at White Tassel versus Hellbrid, I would say White Tassel is much better. The crit rate's really good, and the increase to normal attack damage is huge because, again, that's what Zhao does. He's a normal attack character, especially using his burst. All right. So yeah, again, if you have to choose a 3-star, White Tassel is probably the better out of Hellbrid and White Tassel, but try not to use a 3-star if you can. Next, we're going to talk about 4-star weapons, and the first 4-star weapon I'm going to talk about is actually the Battle Pass weapon, the Deathmatch. Again, this is a crit rate weapon. As I talked about, that's really good for him because that means you can build crit damage on your circlet, really increasing his damage numbers. And the effect is if there are at least 2 opponents nearby, attacks increase by 16%, and defense is increased by the same amount. And if there are less than 2, so if you're in a 1v1 situation, your attack is just increased by 24%. This is just a flat bonus to your stats. Not flat bonus, but a straight percentage bonus to your stats. It's good. I wouldn't say this weapon's really great on him. It doesn't have any real synergies. However, it does give an increase to attack, and the more attack he has, the more damage he's dealing. But as I mentioned, let's do a quick comparison from crit rate to crit rate. The Deathmatch gives you Excuse me. The deathmatch gives you 36% at level 90, where the white tassel only gives you 23%. This is why 3-star weapons are not good. If you have a way not to use them, don't use them. Alright, but that being said, let's go back to the deathmatch. Not much else to say about this. Um, it just isn't the best scaling for him. I mean, it's not like the worst scaling, it's just not the best item for him because it has no real synergies with this kit, but it is still a really good option if you have it and you have it built up already. You could easily just put this from one full arm user onto him and he can do great with it. Next, we have the Favonius Lance. Alright, this weapon is one that I do think is really good on him and that a lot of people won't be thinking about. That's mainly because it has that energy recharge substat. Its base attack is similar to other 4-star base attacks, and its ability is critical hits has a 60% chance to generate a small amount of energy particles, which will recharge 6 energy for the character. Yes, it can only occur once every 12 seconds, but still, if you have the higher refinement you have, the more this can happen. Why I think this is a really good weapon on him is because energy recharge is actually going to be huge on him, especially since they switched him from a 60 energy character all the way up to an 80 energy character. That's the max energy any character needs in the game to use their burst. He's going to need that, which means you're going to have to build energy recharge either in the substats of your artifacts. Maybe maybe people are going to play with actually having an energy recharge main stat somewhere. Because if you want to have that ultimate up as much as possible, you're going to need some energy recharge to really build that up. This weapon will help you do that. Since you're gonna be building him for DPS, he's gonna have crit rate on him from your artifacts, or he should have crit rate on him from your artifacts. So you will want to build this anyway, or you want to build crit rate anyway. And the energy recharge is just a bonus, because then once you have your energy up, you can burst again and then rinse repeat. That being said, this is a good option. I don't think it's the best 4-star option. To me, the best 4-star option is the prototype Grudge. Yes, the free-to-play craftable weapon. I think is by far one of the best weapons for him. That's because it gives that energy recharge that we talked about. I think that energy recharge is going to be really good to make sure he has his burst up as often as possible. But additionally, its ability is after using an elemental skill, increase normal and charge attack damage by 8% for 12 seconds. Remember, this is a normal and charge attack damage. This is a straight increase to the damage you're doing, not to your attack, not to your stats. This doesn't have to get translated anywhere else. It's just an increase to the damage you're gonna do. And you can have 2 stacks from this. Remember, having Xiao has an elemental skill that has 2 charges. So you're gonna be able to build these 2 stacks up. And it lasts for 12 seconds, which is longer than Xiao's cooldown, I believe. Let me just go ahead and double check that to make sure. Yeah, see, his cooldown is 10 seconds. These charges last 12 seconds, so you will be able to build and maintain these stacks for a while, giving you a flat 16%, or not flat, a percentage 16% increase to your damage output just by having this weapon, even at Refinement 1. And again, there's a craftable weapon. If you've been getting lucky with your drops, you can craft multiple of these. If you could have a Refinement level 5, that's a 32% increase to your normal and charge attack damage, which means you're going to be doing a lot of damage, especially while he bursts, because this increase is just going to stack with his will stack with the increase he's going to get from his burst already, and just going to pump out your damage numbers really high. Alright, but since we talked about one craftable weapons, I do want to quickly touch on the other 2 craftables in the game. I do want to quickly touch upon the other 2 craftables in the game. One of them being the one already in the game being the Crescent Pike, and then the one that is coming that we already know the information about, and that's the Dragon Spine Spear. I won't talk about these because I don't think either of these weapons will really be good on him. That's mainly because their secondary stat is physical damage, where we already know Zhao's going to be converting his damage to Anemo using his burst, and once he does that, you're not going to be getting any benefits from that increase to physical damage, and so half of this weapon is already going to be a waste if you put it on Zhao. So I don't think either of the other craftable weapons are the way to go if we're talking Zhao specific. I do think these pikes are really good for physical damage, but again, for Zhao, they're probably not going to be the best. Alright. Next, we're getting into 5 stars. I honestly believe all 3 of the 5 stars can work very well on Zhao. Um, However, Vortex Vanquisher is at the bottom of the list for me. This is mainly because Vortex Vanquisher really relies on shields. It relies on you having that increased that shield to double the attack it gives. And if you don't want to have to include another character in your party just for this, this weapon will never get its max damage out. Will never have its max potential. So it might not be as good as other weapons. However, it is an okay weapon if you have this and you use Noel. If you use Zhongli, if you use someone else, this weapon could be very good on him. However, again, I don't think this will be the best out of the 5 stars because you need that extra shield just to get the best out of it. There's nothing really to say outside of that because all it gives is attack, attack, and even more attack with its skill. So next, let's talk about the Primordial Jade Winged Spear. Originally, I was gonna rate this as my number 1 5-star pick for him. This is the weapon he's shown with all the time. This is the weapon he uses. I think it would be an amazing weapon on him, especially if you have, if you're building that crit damage on your circlet and you're just trying to push the max stacks. I think this will be a very good weapon, especially because if you get the max stacks, it instead increases all damage dealt by 12%. That makes this an amazing weapon. However, there is one weapon I think is better than that, and if you're paying attention, you probably already know which one I'm going to be talking about. But again, this weapon's very good. If you have this weapon, this is like, we're talking like a 0.1 difference in which one's going to perform better. And at the end of the day, the Primordial Jade Spear may actually perform a lot better than the next one I'm going to talk about because of everything it gives you with that crit rate, allowing you to build higher crit damage, and then that increased attack that can stack up to 7 times, and at max stacks at 12% increase to complete damage. That could be a lot of stuff to working in his favor. And if you already have enough energy recharge, you may not even consider the other spear because this one will already be so good. There is one more weapon that may be even better than the weapon he's shown with all the time, and that is the Skyward Spine. This weapon only recently edged it out for me because its secondary stat is at energy recharge, and as we talked about, his energy cost for his burst was increased from 60 to 80, making this an even stronger weapon on him because you're gonna want to have your burst up as often as possible to really be pushing the highest damage numbers you can. Alright, but what else does this Skyward Spine offer? And that's a lot, actually. The Skyward Spine offers a lot of things for you. First off, increased crit rate by 8%, so this isn't going to be nearly as big as a crit rate increase they would be getting if you have something like the Primordial Jade Spear. However, 8% still is a decent increase, meaning you should be able to pull off a pretty decent crit rate by just focusing on your substats. If you can get the right substat rolls, you might be able to get a crit rate high enough of that 40 to 50% range, where you're going to be critting often, maybe not all the time, but be able to get into that range, and that's good enough for your circlet. You can just focus that crit damage. Next, it's giving you increased normal attack speed. Very few things in this game give increased normal attack speed. So it's very exciting to get increased normal attack speed. You'll be able to push out even more damage again because you're going to be attacking so quickly. And that along with his burst, you're gonna be able to attack very fast with this weapon, allowing you to push out even more damage. Additionally, your normal and charge attacks have a 50% chance to trigger a vacuum blade that just does even more small AoE damage. This won't be occurring that often. It will be just a small increase to your overall DPS. The big things here are, again, that crit rate, the attack speed, and that energy recharge. Again, there's a 5-star weapon with energy recharge, meaning that it's really pushing the energy recharge way higher than other weapons. For comparison, or I guess not way higher, for comparison, here's the 4-star energy recharge weapon that goes to 30.6, where the Skyward Spine goes to 36. Yes, it might not be the largest difference, but it is a big enough difference that you will feel it. You will notice your energy recharging a bit faster. One of the biggest things I really want to test once Xiao is out with the Primordial Jade Winged Spear and the Skyward Spine. I don't have any of these currently. Hopefully I could find someone who does have these that I could talk to have this test happen. Is, can he build up his energy fast enough without a bonus to energy recharge somewhere? If he can't, I think the Skyward Spine may be the better weapon. If he can, Primordial Jade Spear will be the better damage weapon, by far actually. If if you're able to use the Primordial Jade Spear and get enough energy recharge, I think this weapon will far outweigh, in damage at least, the Skyward Spine. Again, because this is crit rate. You could fully dedicate crit rate to this in your substats and push enough crit rate where you could focus on crit damage on the circlet. When you get into that higher crit damage range, you're going to be pushing a lot of damage. Again, you're also going to be increasing your attack by 3.2% times 7. Off the top of my head, what is that? Like nearly 36% bonus to your attack just from this passive on top of having a crit rate bonus passive. That's a lot of extra damage. Let's look at the Vortex Vanquisher. It is 49% bonus attack on its substat, where this will be 36% just for, or not 36, my bad. I way overshot that. Let's just use a calculator and be smart people. Yeah, 22. Okay. Yeah, not 36. Not that crazy number that I first said, but 22% extra attack damage is still a lot. That's a little less than half than the thing substat that's offering. And that's not at its main substat. You're still going to be getting that extra crit rate. And on top of that, you're going to get that 12% increase to damage dealt, which doesn't say what type of damage. That means it's going to increase your skill, your burst, your normal attacks. All the damage will be increased by that 12%. So again, if you're able to get enough energy fast enough using the Primordial Jade Winged Spear, I think this may be the better weapon. However, if you're not, I think the Skyward Spine is better in that case. So it really will come down to testing for this. Alright, so to review, if you really have no choice and you have to choose a 3-star, the White Tassel is the better one to go. But as soon as you get one prototype polearm, prototype Grudge is the best free-to-play weapon on him, in my opinion. It gives that energy recharge that you should be looking for. And after using an elemental skill, you increase your normal charge attack damage by 8%, which could stack twice, meaning you can increase it by 16%, which will stack with the Xiao's burst, meaning that this is going to put a lot of extra attack for him. And you can get that bonus energy recharge, increasing, like you get your burst up even more often. And then if you're able to stack its refinement, you can go all the way to 16% times 2, which is 32%. That's a very large increase to your damage output. This is by far the best free-to-play weapon on him. Again, the other craftable weapons both give you physical damage that's not going to be useful in Xiao while he's bursting. So you don't want to focus those. Instead, if you want to focus on a free-to-play weapon, if you're saving all your Primo Gems just for Xiao, the prototype Grudge is how you're going to want to build him. Or what weapon you're going to want to build on him. It's going to be a very good weapon to build. He easily scales with his ability. He easily is able to take full advantage of the weapon's ability, because again, these last for 12 seconds. His cooldown is only 10 seconds, meaning you're going to be able to easily keep that up over and over and over again to be increasing his damage output. Then when we get into the 5-star range, the Vortex Vanquisher falls short of the other two by far to me. Where the Primordial Jade Spear, if you have enough energy recharge on him that you are able to use his burst on cooldown every time, or with only a couple seconds delay, this may be better. The Primordial Jade Spear will be better. If you do not, and you need more energy recharge, I think this will be better by far. One of my biggest things that I can think of, though, is if you're a massive whale, like I'm going to be for Xiao, and you have him C6, let's actually look at that real quick just so you can see what I'm talking about. If you have him at C6, every time you hit two enemies with a plunging attack with Xiao, you'll grant him one charge of his E ability, one charge of his dash, and for the next 1 second, you can use the dash as much as you want while ignoring its cooldown. I don't know if it's as much as you want, but it does say while ignoring its cooldown, so I assume it's as much as you want within that 1 second. Which means that you'll be able to dash, hit as many enemies as you can, and be building up that energy even faster. So at C6, you may be able to get so much damage out with his E that you will want the Primordial Jade Spear over the Skyward Spine, because you will be able to build up that energy using that ability. But not C6, Skyward Spine might edge it out because you still may need that energy recharge to ensure the burst is up. We'll again have to see testing once he's out and people are able to play around with him. I'll make sure to cover all that here on this channel. But that's everything. Again, free to play, prototype Grudge. Pay to play, play to win, pay to whatever you want to call it, pay to have fun. Primordial Jade or Skyward Spine are going to be really good on him, with Primordial Jade edging him out at C6, I believe it's going to happen. And then Skyward Spine anywhere under C6 will probably be the better weapon. Alright, that's everything I have, though, for today. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. I'll, again, happily answer it in the comments, or if it's big enough topic, I'll cover it in a video. But thank you for watching. If you like any of the content, like any of the information, go ahead and give this video a like, and subscribe to my channel, as I have plenty more Genshin Impact and XIAO content on the way. Have a good day.